Anyway. Welcome to the report. I'm Nick. This is the editor guy.
The Thing.
The Thing we keep in the basement. We bring him up every week.
Basement dwellers unite.
The basement dweller. This is Justin. So today on the show, we got something interesting. Well, everything's interesting. This week, though, is going to be the upcoming Game Awards. So, for those who don't know, last week we actually mentioned that we were going to do this last week, or at least that was one of the plans for last week. But we bumped it forward so we could talk about Halo. Something interesting. That didn't end up going over well because the view count is very low. So
people no like.
Shut up, phone. So yeah, we're gonna shelve that for like 4 to 6 weeks, something around there. So we could talk about. So don't worry, we won't have to hear about that for a while. Well, didn't end up going over well. So the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley, you may have heard of him, one of the biggest names in the games industry, has, well, a while back he started a thing called the Game Awards. It's all been his pet project. Think of it like the Oscars for gaming, I like to call it. And it's become very big in the, what's it been, several years since it's been a thing? So, I haven't slept since last.
Sleep is irrelevant, you fool.
I haven't slept since like 12 last night.
There is no such thing as sleep. So, Game Awards. What is?
So, anyways, yeah, that's coming up, and it's going to be streaming next week on the 9th. Hold on, let me figure this shit out. Here we go. It's going to be streaming December 9th. Oh, wait, I just fucking said that. Wait. Hold on, let me just get the exact date. Un momento.
Un momento, por favor.
Hey, gringo, don't do that again.
Jorge. Jorge.
Oh my god. Jorge, get the cerveza.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So it's going to be streaming on December 9th. Where the fuck is it? Does it not say on these? Like, the two articles we have tell us what's actually going to be on the Game Awards, but I do not believe, actually, now that I think about it, either of them actually says when on the day of the 9th it will be streaming. I believe it is at like 9 p.m. though, I think. Hold on, let me correct that. We've got an hour or so.
Out right now.
Yeah.
Time.
Takes the next hour just figuring out when the frick it is. Oh my god, shut up, phone.
Well, he's figuring that out. As with everything else, plenty of other things are pretty much happening around the 9th. Things from Destiny, Halo, and I believe there's some other minor things I don't know too much about, but it just kind of seems like December is the time for everything and anything.
Yes, it'll be 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on the 9th. So if you're interested, that'll be the day. But yes, as Justin did say, a lot of shit is happening around the 9th and in December in general, in the next like week and a half of that. You know, on December 9th, you've got the big Destiny update for the anniversary thing coming up. You've got the thing for what was? Oh yeah, and then the day after that, you've got the day before that, my bad, on the 8th, you have Halo coming out. Then the week after that, on like the 15th, you have the Warframe big update for the new war coming out, and a bunch of things are going up there. So
yes, winter is the time to pay for your merchandising.
Give me money.
Money today, please.
It's like going to be February all over again, which is also going to be a very busy month. But we'll save that discussion till, February. So anyways. Yeah, lots of things are happening. But, the Game Awards is first on the docket. Despite it being the last thing going on the 9th, after the big Destiny update. So between Halo, the Destiny update. My schedule for like the 7th, or the 8th to the 9th of December is going to be very busy.
Yes.
Excuse me. So, yeah. So enough dawdling. Let's actually go over the actual things of the Game Awards. What the heck's actually going to be happening? It's 12:31. How long have we been streaming? I know I usually say that later, but
Literally less than 10 minutes.
okay, good. My clock is just off. I'm sitting here going, "Hey, wait a minute. 12:31. Did I spend like 30 minutes just dawdling over
This
those
man.
details?"
Paranoia is real.
Just checking.
Paranoia.
Good. Okay. So the two things we linked in the comments are two articles going over the Game Awards. Both of them tell what actually is like on the nominations, which was announced last week. Again, which is why we kind of were debating about doing it last week, but we didn't. So the nominees are in each category. There's a few categories. We'll go over each of them one by one, and we'll kind of discuss which is, all the games in the actual list. And like all Game Awards, there's already people coming out saying this game got snuffed, or that game got snuffed, or it didn't get as many awards as it deserves. I mean, there's always going to be some people that say that there's some amount of snuffing. I agree with some of them. I don't agree with others. It's a question of personal taste in some cases.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
well, I mean,
anyone
there's like the somewhat snuffed, as in like, sure. I mean, I get how like some of this is like really big and all that, but then there's also snuffed, as in, oh yeah, no, that was obviously like there was no even possibly winning it to begin with.
There's somewhere where you're like, oh, that's just fans being like, oh, why didn't my game get another? Whereas where you're like, oh no, I can see why that would have gone in, but shame it didn't, and it didn't. So
yeah, but we'll see how it goes.
I hear that Tales of Arsane is kind of getting that treatment this year, where it's only been nominated for like one or two minor categories, but it should have been like way more. But due to the fact that it's a JRPG, kind of limits it for like the West, because JRPGs aren't everyone's taste.
Yeah.
So even if it is a great story, just because it's a JRPG, not many people will play it, so it doesn't get that kind of rep it needs to get up into the higher levels to get those bigger awards.
Yep.
But anyways, on to the actual nominations themselves. Well, it's less a question of bucks. This is more like, because how people get onto the Game Awards is actually, it's judged by committee. Some of it is public opinion. Others are big review sites. So you've got things like Kotaku doing reports for stuff like, or doing votes for stuff like this. You've got people like Forbes giving their input for who should be on the Game Awards. You've got GameSpot giving their opinion on who should be on this. You've got, a bunch of gaming journalist outlets all doing basically collective voting to see which one they believe should be put onto the Game Awards for each docket. And whoever wins in each one kind of gets nominated.
Can I just go on a side tangent for a second here?
Sure, we got time.
Yeah. Okay, real quick. I honestly feel like when it comes to these awards, if the public don't get like a large say in it, and it's mostly just game journalists and stuff, the public should at least get a say in which journalists are actually, worth listening to for the awards and whatnot.
Let me guess. It was because I said Kotaku, wasn't it?
Well, it's not just them. There's a few others, but it's just sometimes when you look at a games journalists and you don't you can tell they're not really putting that much effort into it. You got to ask yourself, is it really worth going and letting them decide what is the best and what isn't?
Well, the Game Awards
put a
keeps
minimum
a list
amount of effort into it.
Well, let's just go to the website, because the Game Awards actually has a website, and they keep a list of all the journalists who they have doing it. And there's actually a spot they have for the actual Game of the Awards piece is nominated by journalists themselves for the most part, but there's also a fan-nominated category. So basically, there's hey, this is the game. This is who the overall thing said was the Game Awards, but here's the people. Like, one of the things was Ghost of Tsushima, right? Ghost of Tsushima, funny enough, on the year it came out, I think that was actually last year that happened. last year was a big debacle of, there was a big controversy because the last year's Game Awards was basically stroking like the ego of the of Naughty Dog, who were making The Last of Us Part 2 at that time, which was a little controversial to put it lightly, but ended up going home with 90% of the awards, including Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And everyone was just kind of sitting there going, what the fuck?
Are you sure about that? Confused.
It was a
dude
massive
needs to
debacle.
play.
Like everyone's like, no, Ghost of Tsushima should have gotten Game of the Year last year, right? And that was even said in like the fan polling. That's who people picked for Game of the Year. But it was like Last of Us Part 2, so it was basically Last of Us this, Last of Us that.
Yeah.
And it was basically stroking, Last of Us ego, which isn't a bad thing. If the game's good, then sure, it can get a lot of awards.
But like, even in my opinion, it's like there's many things the game got right, but not that much the game got right. Like,
yeah, it's like if the game is
no
good,
way that it got like every last thing right.
Yeah, no, it's like it got best art direction, it got best like actors, it got Game of the Year, it got several things that I can't remember as well, like a good chunk of them. And many people are basically scoffed at that because, again, if a game is good, sure, it can have a lot of awards, including Game of the Year, or a few awards here and there, like, let's say 2+ Game of the Year. It happens every now and then if the game's really good. But, like I said, Last of Us Part 2 was divisive, to say the least. So to see it walk on with 90% of the awards was just laughable.
Are you sure about that?
But this year, there's no kind of controversies like that, so we won't probably see that again, I imagine.
I mean,
there was a big...
I'll bet there's going to be a little bit of influence. It's just the amount of influence is going to be much more minor than what it was.
I imagine, considering how it was also a very bad like rap last year. But anyways, the jury who vote on these things, because again, the Game Awards keeps an active list, so there's quite a lot of them. So you've got people from the U.S., you've got I'm not going to say all of them because I'm just going to be here all day, but just in terms of the U.S. voters, because there's quite a lot of voters from both the UK, US, global, and esports committees, because there's also an esports category.
Yes.
Hey, it's a thing.
Yes.
You get ARS Technica, you've got ARS Technica, you've got EZA, you've got eGadget, you've got Entertainment Weekly, you've got Fanbyte, you've got Game Informer, you've got Games Radar, Game Ranks, Gamer Tag Radio, GameSpot, Giant Bomb, IGN, Inverse, Kind of Funny, LA Times, News Weekly, PC Gamer, Polygon, Screen Rant, VentureBeat, The Verge, Touch Arcade, Vice, What's Good Games, Wired. And that's just in the U.S. category of people voting for this. So, you got quite a big pool there.
Just a bit of a pool.
Interestingly enough, in the Canada category, CBC also gets a vote in this, which is actually kind of funny.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know they got a vote here, but okay. Hey, get a wide pool of contenders, right?
Yeah, just a bit.
But yeah, you've got stuff from all over the world, so there's not a small group of juries in this one. But anyways, to the nominees themselves that have been voted on for this year. For Game of the Year, you've got Deathloop, which I haven't played. Personally, it's not my cup of tea, but okay. It Takes Two, which I did hear actually had a little bit of a cult acclaim. Metroid Dread, which I didn't even know there was a Metroid game coming out this year. Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil getting on the Game of the Year awards isn't surprising. It's Resident Evil.
It's one of them. It's big game.
Big game, not a surprise. This year was also pretty slim in terms of big releases, so...
Yeah. Not much big has come out. And I mean, sure, you're going to have the actual Infinite campaign out soon, but that's not there's not enough time to actually go and allow
there is a cutoff date for
it. Yeah.
It's either, I think it's halfway through November is the latest you can get a game out before they say that's it, no more time. Yeah. And I think not even then. I think it's September or something, but whatever, or somewhere like that. But yeah, there is a cutoff date. So things like Halo Infinite is not going to be voted on this year. It's going to get bumped to next year's Game Awards.
Yeah.
So don't worry, just because the release is late doesn't mean they're gonna say, hey, you can't go in at
Yeah,
all. They're just
no,
gonna
they're
bump you to next year.
and I mean that's the other thing. It's like you gotta actually give a game time to actually have like let people play it before you can go and say, Game Awards, here we go.
Interestingly enough, on a side category, I haven't seen which category they're in for specifically, but apparently, according to one of these websites, or the first one actually, the one from TRG, the one from TRG or Tech Radar, I mean,
Hmm.
or TRG, whichever one. Well, the same. Anyways,
Them.
according to the article I'm reading right now, apparently Cyberpunk actually got into one of the categories, interestingly enough, despite its massive debacle. So, apparently they're receiving, some good publicity back. They're getting at least into one category.
There you go. Well, I
But anyways,
mean, when you got like pretty much every category, you really shouldn't be expecting to like get many categories again, because it kind of just shows that you're just kind of being given it. That's unless like you once again you like really earned it.
again, there was a massive controversy last year about it because, again, like most of it going to like freaking The Last of Us Part 2, which was divisive at best, and most journalists, well, they said it was good. As far as the fans were concerned, it was
Yeah, like
terrible.
that's the big thing is like if there's a big divide between journalists and actual players,
Hmm.
something's at least up. Like if anything, like something is not exactly as it seems.
Well, some journalists are
Game's
honest, some
good.
journalists aren't.
Yeah, I mean
I mean,
game's
it's
good, but
I mean, it's
still.
just like the movie industry too. There's always reviewers that are like, "Oh, the movie's great," and then once it gets to the actual public, they're like, "Yeah, no, it's not." So, this divide between reviewer and watcher is nothing new in the entertainment business.
No,
So it's not
no.
surprising.
Mm,
Which is why there's two types. Which is why, in terms of say cinema, there's actually two different categories for reviews when it comes to movies. You have critical acclaim. You have critical reviews or critic reviews, and you have actual public reception.
yes.
Because again, movies can be like praised by critics yet scorned by watchers, which I think the one of the Star Wars movies from like the new saga had, I think, something of that nature. So, like I said, this divide between
It
reviewer and
is what it
watcher is not new.
is.
That's my line. Anyways,
It's
moving
our
on.
line.
For best game direction, we have Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal is actually on this one, Psychonauts 2, and Rift Apart. I think Returnal, yeah, no, I can see it because it's
Hmm.
this weird take on Souls,
Yeah.
but they basically like, hey, what if we took Souls and Bullet Hell and put them into one and put like sci-fi thriller in there? And
Alright, here we go. Mix everything we can together. See how it go.
I played that game. I have that game. It is weird and it is fun to play, but my god, is it weird with Cthulhian tentacle monsters and eh.
Yeah.
Anyways, for best narrative, we have Deathloop. Again, I haven't played the game, so I wouldn't know. It Takes Two. Again, I can see it. I've heard that game was quite nice. Life is Strange, True Colors. A very narrative-focused game, not surprising. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I've played it. It's not bad.
Hmm.
Psychonauts 2. Haven't played it. Wouldn't know. So say with that what you will. Now, best art direction. This one is more reserved for who's the best artsy looking, who makes their games look most colorful. And they actually got
Fancy.
an image of It Takes Two down here, which, I can see for best art. It does look very pretty. It's very stylized. You got the Artful Escape, which, I mean, come on. If the Artful Escape gets best art direction, I'm gonna laugh just because of the name. Um,
The name
Deathloop,
alone gives it away.
Deathloop, Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I've actually wanted to play that one. I haven't. It looks very pretty. Psychonauts 2, very stylized, not surprising. Ratchet and Clank 2, Rift Apart. I wouldn't see that one personally, but okay.
I mean, I can actually understand that one a little bit. It's just not like I don't see it winning, but I can see why it would be nominated because
Mm-hmm.
it's got a lot of good like design in there. Like there's a lot of good stuff in that.
I mean, just the weapons alone are.
Yeah, and some of the effects and stuff you see throughout the game, it's like
It is pretty.
there's a lot of work that was put into that game, so I can see definitely why it would be nominated.
Moving on to best score and music, kind of self-explanatory. Who has the best soundtrack?
Mm.
You got The
Music.
Artful Escape, and this is actually the one Cyberpunk got nominated for, which I can see. I do like Cyberpunk's soundtrack. Not my particular cup of tea, but I do like it. You got Deathloop, which is and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is basically just a simp of every old song you can think of. Like, oh god, like there's a lot of
Yes,
good
all
songs in there, but
the
I think most of the budget
like
went to just acquiring the rights to the old
early
songs.
2000 and 90s songs and stuff. Ah, yes.
Yep.
There
Yep,
we go.
pretty much. Near Replica or Near Replicant, which actually I just got recently, haven't had a chance to play it yet, but if it's like the soundtrack of Near Automata, I can see it. Now I'm actually excited to hear what that sounds like. And of course, it's not actually just Near Replicant. It's Near Replicant version 1.22474487139. I'm not even kidding you, because the guy who made it, why, man? Why?
So much effort. Oh,
Japanese people, I'm telling you, they're weird. Anyways, best audio design. So basically, which one makes you feel the most immersed when you're listening to the music? So not necessarily the best music, but which one really pulls you into the world when you're listening to it, right? Not just sound, but small audio cues can also count here too. You got Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, which it's a racing game. I mean, if it's a good racing game.
I guess.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, the music's good. There's a lot of audio cues there. Resident Evil Village, I mean, it's Resident Evil. Returnal, which I actually can vouch for. There's a lot of stuff that pulls you into the world with just the kind of like weird synth techno shit they have going on in the background. It really is immersive if you really get into it in terms of audio cues, so I can see that one.
Yeah, I mean, some of those are like, okay. I mean, sure.
I mean, that one is much more
They're
debatable.
kind of meant to sound that way no matter what, so if you can't actually nail the sounds for those, then what are you doing?
I mean, it's much more which one, like, with their sound can immerse you into the world. It's not necessarily music, but which one can immerse you with its sound.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when you look at, like, a racing game, you kind of have to have engines sounding, the tires, like, you have to have
I mean,
that.
not all racing games are immersive.
No, but you kind of have to have that in some capacity, because if you don't, then it really doesn't feel like a racing game at all. All you got is
it's not about racing. It's about, is it a good racing game, right?
Yeah.
There's room for debate.
Then there's Resident Evil, which is like zombie game. Ah, yes. Moans. Here we go.
Well, you're the entire time.
And then the
entire soundtrack, just a long drone of that.
And then the occasional main character grunting as they push the zombie off.
Yeah, the entire freaking audio recordings for Resident Evil is just a mixture of and that's the main character gets.
Yeah.
That's literally the first game in a nutshell. Well, it was a lot more feminine because it was the main character was a female, if memory serves. Anyways, games for impact. This one is much more doing to thought-provoking. So which one sends a nice social message, social messages to share, which one kind of gives a nice health, kind of the examples given in this article are, for example, self-awareness of mental health, trans issues, games that have a nice, good, feel-good message in the game, that kind of thing.
Yes.
In this category, we have Before Your Eyes. I've actually not heard about that one, so I don't know. Boyfriend Dungeon, which I'm just gonna say now, sounds like a weird hentai anime. Sorry, I've got to say it.
There's a problem here.
I mean, now I gotta look up that game because that's all I'm gonna think about. It could be a beautiful game with a beautiful message, but when I hear that name in context, that's the first thing I think about. So, sorry, I'm a weeb. I have to say it. Anyways, moving on, we have Chicory, A Colorful Tale. At least Chicory, I think. Chicory, A Colorful Tale. Sorry if I pronounced that game wrong, developer. Life is Strange, True Colors. Not surprising. Life is Strange has always had those kind of undertones of mental health and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
No Longer Home, which I've not seen before, but, maybe.
That name alone just sounds like that this is a mental health problem. I am not happy. Help me.
Help me.
Something's inside my house.
But so there you go. Those are those games for that. Fun to see who wins that one. Best ongoing game. Kind of self-explanatory, but these are games that won't have released this year, but the developers, well, the exact quote I'm reading from the article here about the definition of this category. These games won't have released this year, but the developers have been providing new content and updates that keeps the experience as fresh as when it was originally launched. So basically, long-running games. So,
Long live the
MMOs
king.
kind of things. MMOs or, shooters like that. And in this category, we have Apex Legends, Final Fantasy Online, Fortnite, oh god, Genshin Impact, I actually hope that one wins, Call of Duty, and Call of Duty Warzone.
Yes.
So, most of them are arena shooters, and then you got Final Fantasy Online, Genshin Impact. If Genshin Impact wins, I'm actually going to be quite happy, because I actually like that game. And I do think it's a nice, it's a newer game, but it's a nice ongoing game. Played Final Fantasy Online, it's not bad. And then, what can I say about Apex Legends and Fortnite and Warzone that hasn't already been said 100 times?
It's like Battle Royale. All you gotta do is just wait for the next Battle Royale, and then that game will die out. Because that's literally how that always
Destiny
goes.
No, I think Destiny got on there a few times. Destiny actually 2 years ago won one award, and that was actually ironically for best community outreach or something of that nature.
I think so, maybe. That kind of sounds like something that would happen in Destiny.
Mm-hmm. I think it was like best listening to the community or something akin to that kind of category. I can't remember what the exact reward was.
There you go.
But anyways, moving on, you have best indie game. Again, I don't need to explain what an indie game is, but for those who don't know, it's basically independent teams that aren't, AAA games. They don't have the massive budgets. They're basically, small teams of people basically, getting together and just making random stuff. They don't have massive budgets or massive corporations backing them.
Yes.
So, on this one, you've got 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Inscription, I believe that's right, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, and Loop Hero. I didn't know Kena, Bridge of Spirits was an indie game, but, a lot of indie games in the world these days, so,
There you go.
So I'm not too sure who would win on that one. Again, I haven't played most of them. Not all of them, actually. I haven't played all of them in that category. Best mobile game. Do I really need to explain to the audience what a mobile game is? Really? It's the things you download on your phone from the App Store.
Literally Candy Crusher. That's all I can think of. Goodbye.
I thought you just said Candy Crush for a second. I'm like, oh, good God. But anyways... Ironically, under this category, they have a picture of Psychonauts, which is kind of funny. Yes, I wish that was on the App Store. Anyways, under this category, we have Fantasian. I think I pronounced that right. Genshin Impact, which, yes, for those who don't know, is actually also on the phone. Because...
Why not?
It's a China-based game, and China has... for the longest time, basically been a pure mobile game society. They've only recently gotten into the console business, and that was because for up until I think 3-4 years, the main console manufacturers were forbidden from doing business in China for reasons. I don't remember the exact reasons, but they just couldn't.
Hush.
Yeah, Chinese government's going to send assassins to my house for saying that.
How dare.
But yeah, so for the longest time, mobile games were really the only outlet in China, and because of how big China's population is, it took off, and there's now a massive market for mobile games in general in China as well. So that's why anything in China tends to also have a mobile version, because it's basically a mostly mobile-based society in terms of their gaming community, because that's basically all they've had for the longest time. Anyways,
well, that and the fact that it's like you've got to be constantly working and doing stuff, so it's like you're most likely only going to be having like 5 minutes or 6 minutes a day to be able to play it while you're traveling.
So anyways, that. Anyways, moving on, we have League of Legends Wild Rift. Didn't know there was a League of Legends game on the mobile, but there we go.
Yes.
Marvel Future Revolution and Pokemon Unite. Again, kind of hope Genshin Impact wins that one, because actually I do like that game. Anyways, moving on, next category, we have Best VR AR Game. Again, what is VR? It's the massive piece of headgear you bought for a few $100 that makes you put in VR. And AR is the growing thing that we see on phones with augmented reality. So that's what AR stands for.
Yes.
So let's see what's in this category. We have Hitman 3. Hitman's in VR? Where can I get this game?
Yeah, no, I remember about that. Hitman in VR. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can take out my rage.
Yes.
I expect
I can
the next one.
Take my stealthing to the new level.
I expect you to die 2, which is one fun name. I'll give you that much. Lone Echo 2. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil is in VR. Oh boy. The screams of terror. Now they're in VR.
Just like so many other horror games.
Hey man,
VR
it's a good concept. Putting VR and horror together is a great idea, especially if you're watching the reaction videos of someone else playing it.
Yes. Who's ready to be tormented?
Hey man, Alien Isolation in VR is not something you want to do. I don't play horror games. I especially don't play horror games in VR. Anyways, moving on, you have Sniper Elite VR, which is the last one on that list. So an interesting bunch of nominations there. Interesting to see who wins. I honestly don't have any money one way or the other on that category.
Yeah.
Next, we move on to Best Action Game, which is just the best action game. It's pretty self-explanatory. And, excuse me, my neck is so stiff right now. Anyways, so in that category, we have Back 4 Blood 2, and actually there's a typo in this article where they put B and A in back as capitalized, so haha. I see typo. Sorry, I have to get my fun where I can.
Mistake-o.
Next on that list, we have Chivalry 2, Deathloop, which I can see. Far Cry 6, I'm in the middle of playing that right now. It is a good action game, I'll tell you that much. And Returnal, which, I can see it. I clenched the butt cheeks very hard in Returnal. Or maybe that was because of the bullet hell aspect. I think it was the bullet hell aspect. Anyways.
Just a little bit.
Next, we have Best Action Adventure Game. Again, self-explanatory, it's just the best in the action-adventure genre. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. Those are the ones on that one. What's there to say on that one? Not surprising for the most part.
Yeah, it's pretty standard for that.
Now we have Best RPG next, and what do you know? Cyberpunk also made it onto this list. Go figure. So anyway, Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter Rise. I actually have that game. Haven't played it though because that's a sell Christmas present, so I'm waiting. Scarlet Nexus. I think I've said on this show how I feel about Scarlet Nexus. There's so many moments where I've been sitting there and the first thing I can say is "Why?" in the screen as the characters do so stupid things. So Shin Megami Tensei 5. Actually, I have that game. Again, haven't played it. Not because it's a Christmas present, though, just because I haven't gotten around to it. So, And Tales of Arsane. I have played that game, and it is very, very fun. It is very good. Also, that is the one people think was slightly snuffed because of how good its story was and stuff like that. But,
Yeah, no.
It's JRPG, so not everyone's cup of tea. Does that make sense? And Shin Megami Tensei 5 is, think of like Persona, the Persona series, but much more dark. Basically, the guys who made the Persona series also made Shin Megami, and a lot of the actual like spirit characters you see in Persona also make an appearance in Shin Megami. But like I said, the story's just a lot darker.
Just a bit. Don't worry about it.
So which one? So who do I want to win? I wouldn't mind Cyberpunk winning this one. Monster Hunter Rise wouldn't be alright with that. Shin Megami also wouldn't mind. I would actually kind of want Tales of Arsane to win, truth be told. I really don't want Scarlet Nexus to win. And I don't say that often when it comes to JRPGs because they don't get enough love, but don't get me wrong. Scarlet Nexus, very good concept, very good idea for a game. Terribly executed in the story department as far as character interactions go. There's so much they could have played with, so much they have in the story they could have done, but they didn't. Anyways, I won't go any further because I'll be here all day ranting about that game. That could be an episode in and of itself. My issues with Scarlet Nexus, but
My sadness within.
anyways, that's the potential future episode. Anyways, next up we have best fighting game, which I mean, fighting games are probably one of the oldest genre in video games. Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are testaments to that.
Yeah, fighting was pretty much one of the first type of arcade games. Like, not the first, but like the first mainstream fighting games that began, like, started to become like their own consoles and their own things.
You got shit like Asteroids and fighting games, or like that was a genre and one was an actual game. But you've got those kind of side scroller games like Asteroids, where they would fall down the screen, and then you have fighting games or stuff like that was like the first types of games. So, very veteran category right here.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, Demon Slayer, the anime, actually made a fighting game adaptation of its characters, and that actually got a nomination here, as we see. Demon Slayer. The Hinokami Chronicles actually got nominated, so
there you go.
Go figure. Guilty Gear Strive, Melty Blood, Type Lumina. My bad. I'm not sure about that one. I actually haven't heard of that one. And Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, which I'm actually gonna laugh if that one wins.
Yeah.
And then of course a old name, Virtua Fighter 5. I've heard of Virtua Fighter.
Mm. Here we go.
So,
who will win?
Find
out with the next fighting game battle.
All you just hear as they're doing that category is you just hear some random voice in the background, fight! You just, that's like, freaking Street Fighter music starts playing in the background or some shit.
All of the fighting games just kind of merge together into one.
They just start fighting it out on stage for the trophy. I'd like to see that, actually. Freaking SpongeBob go up against, like, freaking Ken from Street Fighter.
No, you just get, like, the Wii Resort Battle Arena. Just, like, this little ring is surrounded by water. Alright, here we go.
Here we go. Ken from Street Fighter, freaking SpongeBob from Nickelodeon versus freaking one of the characters from Demon Slayer. The freaking boarhead guy. I can't remember his name. Yeah, there we go. Let's fight. Fight for the trophy. Go on. Oh my god. Anyways, next up we have the category for best family game. So, I love the definition this site gives. Normally the best blank game categories are fairly self-explanatory, so we don't need to explain them. However, best family game is an odd one. While plenty of adults who adore these titles, my tongue is malfunctioning today. Plenty of adults who adore these titles. This category is a polite way to say best game for kids, something that is fun for all the family. I think that's a pretty good explanation of the best family game category.
Yeah.
All things considered. So, anyways, on this category we have It Takes Two, which is interesting because that actually has to do with a married couple. Mario Party Superstars. The new Pokemon Snap, which actually I played the old Pokemon Snap on the GameCube. I like the game. Actually replayed it multiple times in the past. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser Fury.
There you go.
And Wario World, to get it together. I didn't know there was a new Wario World. Or WarioWare, my bad. I wasn't aware there was a Wario game. Or at least a new one.
Sad Waluigi noises.
Waluigi noise in the background. Waluigi. Anyways, hear that. I remember that. Anyways. Best sim strategy game. So, best simulation strategy game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Another one of the self-explanatory categories. So, Age of Empires. I think that's 5 Roman numerals. Maybe 6. Hold on. Let me look that up.
Double check.
How did I get intravenous? Oh yeah, because IV is also used for intravenous. Number. There we go. My bad. 4. My bad. 4. I was off on both accounts. So, back to the article.
Yes.
Age of Empires 4, the remastered version. Evil Genius 2, World Domination. Surprised that actually got a nomination, but there you go. Humankind, Inscription. Now I'm going to check that out. And weirdly enough, Microsoft Flight Simulator. I could see best sim, not best strategy, but I could see best sim because Flight Simulator has long been praised, especially the newest one, for being a very, very, very pretty, very beautiful simulation game. So, as far as the sim aspect goes, I can see it. Maybe not strategy, because I don't think there's anything strategic about flying a plane, though I'm sure there's plenty of pilots who would disagree with me, so... You never know.
Insert all pilots being unhappy with you.
Yeah, I've just made like a ton of enemies. Anyways, the next category is Best Sports and Racing Game. Again, pretty explanatory, just a bunch of, racing games. Also sport games, so, expect if the first thing you're thinking of, yes, it's on there too. So F1 2021. F1 2021. They finally have a year where that name actually rolls off the tongue nicely. Anyways, next up we have FIFA 22. I mean, it's a sports game. It's gonna be on there. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Forza 5, which Hot Wheels Unleashed, and Riders Republic. I will laugh if Hot Wheels Unleashed wins this category. Best sports game that beats out FIFA. Hot Wheels.
Toy car.
Eat it,
beat
EA.
real car. The winner.
Toy car. Nah, it's just a freaking FIFA 22. Freaking eat it, EA. Your soccer game is nothing compared to Hot Wheels. EA cries in the background.
Why have you done this to me?
Best multiplayer game. Why do they have a picture of Lady Dimitrescu? Yes, everyone was thirsty for that vampire woman. Another fun story. Monster Hunter Village. Resident Evil Village. A lot of people were thirsty for Lady Dimitrescu for a while, man. The voice actress even had quite a little fun with it, so at least she was, having fun with it.
There you go.
Anyways. Sorry, that's now in my head. Okay, best multiplayer games. In this category, we have Back 4 Blood. We have Knockout City. It Takes Two. Monster Hunter Rise. Not surprising. Monster Hunter has long been a multiplayer-esque kind of game. New World. And Valheim. My money's on Monster Hunter Rise simply because I'm a longtime fan of the Monster Hunter series.
Yes.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you just kind of have to take a look at it later, see how it goes.
Next, we have Most Anticipated Game. This one is mostly the ones that are really, really excited. Like, people are excited for this to come out. So, there's an awful lot of debate on... Well, there's not a lot of debate on which one gets this one. It's basically who has the best marketing department category.
Yeah. Who has the right stuff.
Anyways, on this one, we have Elden Ring, which we actually covered on this show. I'm excited for that one. God of War Ragnarok. Horizon Forbidden West. I actually played the first Horizon game twice. Very good game.
There you go.
The sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was just the sequel. Nintendo refuses to tell us the name.
Yes.
Or wait, is that literally the name? Please tell me that's not literally the name Nintendo's going with. Oh god. I think it is just Breath of the Wild too. Good god, Nintendo. Now they're just getting lazy.
It begins.
Okay. And of course, Starfield, Bethesda's long-anticipated space opera thing.
Yes.
We'll see.
Oh, we'll see how it goes.
So there you go. I believe there are a few other categories that have to do with things like esports, but as far as this one goes, that's the big categories most people are excited about. So there you go. Let me just go to the other one and make sure I didn't miss out on any categories. Let's see your best mobile. Yes, best community support. There's a bunch of other ones, so we'll go to the other article and we'll go over the other categories. Scrolling. Which one did we not cover? Best score, best audio, best performance. Here we go. Best performance. This is more of an actor-based one in these games, so Kind of like how the Oscars has best performance for a movie or best lead actor.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing for best performance, though it could just be any character in the game, not just the main character, or not just the main character specifically. So just anyone who did very good in their game performance. Not surprising.
Yeah.
In this one, we have Erica Mori as Alex Chan in Life is Strange: Two Colors. Life is Strange has always had very evocative actors play their roles, or very evocative voice lines and very well done performances of scripts. So it's not surprising they got a nomination. I'm gonna butcher his name though. I'm a long-time fan of his work. Giancarlo Espinosa or Esposado as Anton Castillo in Far Cry 6. I am a longtime fan of his work. I remember him as the dentist in in Payday 2,
Yes.
as well as the chicken guy from Breaking Bad. So I've always enjoyed his performances.
Yes.
And him playing the main villain in Far Cry 6 is very good. I hope he gets that one. He deserves it. Jason Kelly is Colt Vaughn in Deathloop. Maggie Robertson as Lady Dimitrescu also made her way onto this one. Remember that woman everyone said was thick for thirsty for? Guess who got best performance? Man, if she wins, I'm gonna laugh. Lady Dimitrescu walks out and says, told you so. Told you so.
Yes, I get everything. I win. Foolish
Insert
mortal child.
Insert all the simping people did for her. Man, oh man. Oh my goodness. Another Deathloop candidate, actually. Another Deathloop actor also got in here. Ozumoyo Agahaga? I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names. I hate it when I butcher names because I have long times had my last name butchered. So I feel bad when I butcher people's names because I know what it's like to have people butcher your name. So sorry, it's not intentional.
I mean, it also doesn't help to have like a really confusing to say name too. Like,
well, I mean, that just has to do with culture. I don't knock anyone for that. I come from Hispanic culture, for
no,
God's sake.
it's
Most
like
of our names
I
are hard
don't.
to pronounce.
No, I do not blame people for like having a confusing name. I just blame like the people for choosing names like those and like having literally tongue twisters.
How would you
for
call your
everything.
son and daughter this name? Why would you curse them so?
I called them Kakikabola Centenola. Confused? Yes.
Also, thank you for making us an enemy of every one of our Hispanic viewers. Thank you.
You realize that was closer to Nordic, right?
I don't know if that was.
I
can
would
have this
say that
discussion
is
later. I don't
closer
think
to
that is
Nordic.
Nordic. I don't think that is Nordic.
We'll
That would
see.
be more like what's the
I mean,
actual,
I would
like,
not say that that is
Norwegian.
Hispanic.
Like,
Yeah, like no matter what, that is not Hispanic.
we can discuss this later.
Someone else is
Anyways,
just angry, and then everyone become angry.
Anyways, first name Ozioma as Julian Blake in Deathloop. So the other character that's a big problem in Deathloop.
Yeah.
So basically, the two main characters of Deathloop got nominated. I could see that. They do very good performances.
Yeah, they had a lot for that.
Anyways, we looked at Games for Impact, Best Ongoing, Best Indie, saw that, Best Mobile, Best Community Support. Here we go.
Here we go.
This one, again, this site that I have, again, this second website that has what I'm now seeing is a much fuller list of the categories. Does not have a description, so I'm going to try my best to describe this one to you. Best Community Support is basically the games that talk to their community the best. Which ones actually, do a lot of community interactions and stuff like that. Which ones do a lot of listening, essentially. So it doesn't have to be any, specific MMO types of games. It can also be single players.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So on this list we have Apex Legends. Destiny 2 is actually on this list as well. If they get this would actually be their second time I think they got that in a row. Or not in a row, but second time in general.
There you go.
Final Fantasy Online, Fortnite, which I'm not sure about that one, but okay. No Man's Sky, which, I could argue that considering the massive turnaround they had, but Next on our list is Innovation in Accessibility. This one is a little bit self-explanatory, but I'll explain anyway. This one is basically which ones go there out of their way to give accessibility settings. You know how a lot of games don't always give accessibility settings for every kind of problems. Maybe you don't have hands, for example, so you can't use regular controllers. Maybe you're like me and you're colorblind and some colors don't register right for you. Stuff like that. Not every game goes out of their way to go give the full broad spectrum of accessibility options. So innovation and accessibility is basically games that go out of their way to do a lot of work in getting accessibility controls in their games. So that's kind of what you're looking at in this category.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6 is on this category. Not surprising. Ubisoft tends to go out of... Say what you will about Ubisoft in terms of their corporate policy and everything else, but admittedly, I'll give credit where credit's due. They do go out of their way to do a lot of accessibility options for stuff like that, such as...
Yeah.
They actually also have... not push to talk, but what's that one where it reads out the words to you in like that computerized voice?
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what they're called.
I don't remember what that feature is called.
Like a voice automated system narrator, I think.
Yeah, narration stuff like
Yeah, like a type of narration.
Mm-hmm. They've always had that in a lot of their games, color blindness, stuff like that. So it's not surprising Far Cry 6 got on here. Ubisoft goes out of their way to do that a lot. Anyways, Far Cry 6, Forza 5, haven't played it, wouldn't know. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I don't remember what their accessibility options were, so I don't know. The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. Haven't played that game. Actually, I didn't actually know about that game, so again, I wouldn't know.
There you go. Well,
we did best VR and AR. Oh, you were gonna say something? Forgive me. I'm just gonna scroll down.
But yeah, no, it's like there's a lot of options this time around. Like, there's a lot of different games being nominated. Some of them are a little weird on why they're nominated in the first place. Hot Wheels, but
I mean, hey, it is a sports racer. It is a sports racer,
but it's literally toy cars. It's like they're literally toy cars.
But it's a sports racer, so it counts.
But they're still toy cars.
Still, it counts. Hey, if the people like it, the people get it. Right?
I'm not gonna harp on them for not liking it or not. It's just I'm confused. How does toy car equal sports car?
I mean, it doesn't say sports car; it just says sports racing. So.
I guess.
But besides, also this year's been pretty slim for game releases. So
I will say, besides when like you were a kid and had Hot Wheels,
I still have Hot Wheels, man.
Yeah, it's like who didn't go and take the little cars and race them against one another? Like
I did.
Who didn't?
I actually got a gift one year from a family friend who her parents. I actually. An old high school friend of mine who I still somewhat kind of talk to. When we were kids, I actually went over to her house, and her parents, I think it was either my birthday or Christmas something, got me a Hot Wheels track, and I think I still have some of the Hot Wheels cars. Man, I still remember that. That's a good memory. Anyways,
like old toys right there.
If she's listening, I won't call her out, but I remember that. You may not, but I remember that. It's a good memory for me. It's one of the few memories I actually do remember, and shit, my computer's dying. So I don't forget everything, and that is a very good memory to me. But anyways.
Moving on.
Calling out someone. Moving on. I see a new one we haven't covered, but I'm just making sure I didn't miss any. Innovation. Did all of those. Okay, no, I don't think we missed any of those for that category. Okay, so next we have Content Creator of the Year. This one is much more self-explanatory. It's much more of content creators in terms of, could be esports, it could be YouTubers like us. Maybe one day I would love to get on that list.
I mean,
no, it's only one person who could get on, so it would either be me or Justin. So Justin, move over. I'm taking the list.
Well, I mean, we're both technically the channel owners and all that.
We're both technically the owners.
If it's the channel that gets nominated, then it's kind of like a Daft Punk situation where it's like we are like what is known as the Daft Punk without one.
Yeah, Daft Punk is just two of us. We'd both walk up on stage and be like, "Hey, haha."
Ah, yes, we're like Daft Punk, just no helmets and no music
helmets.
and literally no light show.
And not European, but whatever.
not French. Mm.
I think they're actually British.
No, they're French.
Are they French?
Yeah,
Go
they're
figure.
French. Actually, I think I heard that they got back together to do an awards ceremony.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, my buddy, who was a DJ, actually did email correspondence with them when he was starting out his time out as a DJ.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, weird.
Weird.
But he actually apparently they liked his music, so.
Yeah, there you go. That or
But
they
anyways.
were just being very encouraging.
That is true as well. That's possible.
I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't want to be encouraging. It's like continue what you're doing, continue what you love.
you know, from one DJ tips to another. But anyways, content creator of the year. I believe this one is also more in the esports category, but I could be wrong. Hold on, let me just check that to make sure I'm right on that one. Content creators typically revolving around esports, but it could also be in terms of just regular YouTube channel, but they only nominate specific people, not channels. So,
Yeah.
we're Justin. I'm taking it. Anyways, so this time we've got Dream, Dicel, Gallius.
Wait, real quick. Do you mean Dream as in like the Minecraft guy Dream?
I'm not too sure. I'm reading out the name, but
it says Dream, right?
Yeah, DREAM.
Interesting.
It might be.
Interesting. Dream speedrunning award ceremony.
Hey man, I mean it's content creator, so it's a specific person, so it's possible.
God, this is weird.
Anyways, we have Dicel after him, Gallus, Labille, and Gregorf. Gref. Maybe I'm pronouncing those names wrong. Sorry if I am. But there you go. Those are the content creators. Shit, does us being a dual channel like immediately veto us for that potential award in the future?
I don't know, and it really shouldn't.
That's
matter.
sad.
It really shouldn't matter. Like we focus on making sure we get the news out to the people. That's what they
I mean,
need.
I have seen nominations of other news channels or other news people. So, but they also have their own channels aside from their stuff they did. So, who knows?
You have more than one channel. Unregarded, you don't get reward.
I mean, you could because you have your own channel, so it's possible you could. I don't know if I would. I mean, this is my channel or our channel. That's the closest thing I have to my channel. So.
The channel. We channel.
The channel. The Wii channel. Anyways, best debut indies. We did that one. Most anticipated game. Did that one. Best esports game. Here we go. Remember how I was talking about esports? This is the esports categories. So as best esports game. Again, I don't need to explain this one. It's the games that best lend themselves to the esports genre and are big in the esports league. If you're big into esports, you've most likely heard of all of these.
Just a bit.
So, in that category, we have Call of Duty. We have Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, League of Legends, and Valorant. Surprising Valorant gone on. Not surprising for the rest, though.
I mean, I've been seeing a lot of, like, advertisements and stuff, like, for Valorant, the equivalent to, like, League of Legends, basically. How it's like League of Legends would have, like...
crashed. Maybe I'm wrong on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I hear Valorant's still going. It's just I don't see as much of a hype for it as when it first
Yeah, it
came
kind
out.
of died down.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm. And moving on, we have Best Esports Athlete. So, the best athlete in the esports world, you know.
Question is for what game?
I mean, it could just be any game. It's just the best athlete in the esports world.
Yeah.
So world pros get their names on this one, and
is there multiple selections or only the one for that one?
What do you mean?
For the esports.
No, there's multiple esports categories. Actually, the next one we were going to talk about is best esports team.
Okay, so there's like esports person and then the esports team?
Yeah, there's specific athlete and then there's the team itself.
Okay.
So, if you didn't get on this one, you could get on the next one on your team. Anyways, I love the name of this first dude. Chris Simplair. I love it. Your stage name is Simp. I love it.
Your depression has become true.
Next we have Hio Showmaker Su. Megamind Collapse Kalov.
That sounds like Megamind.
Mhm.
Megamind.
Megamed.
Mm.
Mikomad. Oslander SMMPL is Kastelov. Sounds Russian. Tyson Tez
Well,
Neo.
yeah, I'd definitely say that. That'd be Russian.
Kostalev. Yeah, certainly is. And now we have best esports team. Again, not self-explanatory. It's the best teams in the esports business. We have Atlantis Face from Call of Duty. We have DWK-KIA in League of Legends. Natus Verus in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Sentinels in Valorant. There's Valorant again. And Team Spirit in Dota 2. I actually heard of Team Spirit, weirdly enough. Moving on, we have Best Esports Coach. Yes, even the coaches get one on this one.
Yes. Coach, help me.
Put me in, Coach, put me in!
I get in there, win.
Guy just slaps on the back. Alright, he got a carpal... Alright, his carpal tunnel is kicking in. Go on there, man! Win this match for us. Smacks him on the back. He's like, yeah, Coach. Sits down on the chair.
Make sure you use that special item I told you about.
Make sure to use the special item. Yes, Coach. Remember, F1. Always F1.
Control, Alt, Delete.
Control, Delete. Anyways, in this category for Coach, we have Arit Silent Gaziv, Adri Engiv Shokolev, Andy B1ADS3 Hideyoski, James Crowder Chowder. Oh wait, Crowder. Huh. I guess he just goes by his last name. And Kim, Jongkem.
Somewhere from Asia. I don't want to be racist.
I'm guessing, judging by that name, Korean. If my knowledge is correct.
Yeah, thinking about it, like that sounds somewhere around Japan, Korea. Yeah.
No, not Japan.
Well,
I'm guessing
that
Korea.
specific area, like, because
Mm.
I know there are some Korean names that sound Japanese and some like Japanese that sound Korean, because for a good while Japan was like around Korea, so it's like. And Korea, was like the access point for the rest of Asia to Japan, so they got the most influence.
Interestingly enough, the reason why all the Asian kind of areas share one kind of based alphabet is because, funny enough, if you actually go back in history, the reason why is because China originally tried to colonize the island that is now Japan, and Japan was a colonization effort that went bad and split off.
We are our own nation.
Kind of like what the U.S. did with the British, so yeah. And ironically, history repeated itself later.
That's kind of ironic and weird to think about, how it's like continent goes and colonizes island becomes its own nation, goes and colonizes continent becomes its own nation.
Ironic, you're not even wrong, because later on in history would repeat itself, because Japan's attempt to colonize the mainland ended up with Korea. Like, that was Korea. Japan's attempt to colonize another part of the world, which, like them before them, broke off and made their own nation, which was originally whole Korea. Honestly, originally that was whole Korea before the whole war in Korea happened, and then we got North and South Korea, but, that's another part of history.
North and South Korea primarily came about mainly because, the combination of two different people wanting
different ideologies,
and then you have the Soviet Union and the US being like, yes, let's get involved.
Well, I mean, the reason was because when originally Japan was colonizing the area, and they originally made Korea, right?
Yeah, no, they made Korea.
The North was very fertile, so they used that all for farmland. Or the South was very fertile, so they used that all for farmland. While the North wasn't very fertile, if at all, so they just used that all for industry. But unfortunately, when the Civil War broke out and North and South Korea became their own lands, South Korea got the best end of the deal because they got all that fertile land, so they could support themselves, whereas North Korea, they didn't. So they had all the industry, but
Give
no
me
way to support themselves.
food!
So that's kind of why Korea is in the position it is as far as North
Just
goes, because
completely
they don't really have
unhappy.
much farming. Honestly, that's why they had very many years of depression and
Food
financial downturn,
shortages and
because they
stuff.
had no way to produce food for their own people because the
Yeah.
land was just so unfertile.
Yeah, and it took them a while, and now they're just doing their stuff.
And now they are North Korea, which need I say more?
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the old Game Awards, because we're already here for 1:30,
1:30, you say?
according to my thing. How long have we been streaming?
Hour 6 minutes.
Good.
Game
As far as
Awards, everyone.
This is the last category as far as I can see. As far as these two articles, I swear if this article is also incomplete, I'm going to scream. But next and hopefully final category we can see is best esports event. So again, the best event in the esports world, so maybe the best tournament and stuff like that. So on this list we have 2021 League of Legends World Championship, the International 2021. Not sure what that is. It's not very self-explanatory. PGL Major Stockholm 2021, which sounds like a mental illness. PGL Major Stockholm. Sorry,
Well then.
I have to say it. I had to say it. It sounds like it. PUBG Mobile Global Championship. There's a mobile championship for PUBG. Why was I not aware of this? Maybe because I'm not a big esports dude. Anyways,
well, I mean that's the thing. Like PUBG and a lot of other like battle royales like that will always have their own little tournaments.
And finally on the list we have Valorant Champions Tour Stage 2 Masters. What a name. And there we go. That brings us to the end of this list, the second list. Again, both these lists are posted in the thing. It looks like Evening News actually got the fuller list, it seems, though they don't have any explanation, so you're going to have to infer with some of them. But anyways, there you go.
Yeah.
Again, I swear if that's not all of them, I'm going to scream. But between those two lists, you kind of have a good idea of all the events and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it's not a complete list, if anything, it would be like three or like at the very most like three more categories. And if anything, those three would probably be categories that it's like, ah, yes, a surprise, here we go. Like it really wouldn't be like that big. It would mostly just be surprise categories that they just wanted to do like a special event type thing.
It's also worth noting that the Game Awards is also a time sometimes new games will get announced, or teaser trailers or release dates for highly anticipated games will also be revealed. It sometimes happens between category announcements. They'll play like world premiere or stuff like that. So it also is a time for a little bit of marketing. So maybe expect a good release of like some very highly anticipated game to have a final release date announced. So maybe God of War Ragnarok will have its release date announced then. It's possible. Maybe a few other games we've kind of heard about a while back but have been radio silent for a while. Game Awards is a very, very widely televised event in the games business, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'm still waiting on the freaking Harry Potter game. Still waiting on it. But there you go. That's the Game Awards. I will be watching it, and we might talk about that after the Game Awards. Maybe a kind of follow-up to the Game Awards, because that is on the 9th, right?
Yes.
So that'll be... Oh, we're already in December, shit. That'll be Thursday next week. And remember, 8 p.m. So, if you're going to watch it...
Wow. Yeah.
Hey,
you're gonna watch it. We're gonna be here like just the day before, sitting here like
day before doing talks. So.
Yeah, we're just gonna twiddle our thumbs, being like, ah, yes. I wonder what will happen.
What will happen? But I mean, on Wednesday will be when Halo Infinite comes out. But obviously, that's way too soon to do a review. So expect that possibly later on. And like I said, we'll be shelving Halo for a little while. So expect that quite a while.
Yeah, if anything, it'll probably be at like the very least a week, because we want to go and actually take proper time to go through it. Like at least get around halfway through the campaign before we actually have a review.
And when he says we, he means me, because I'm gonna play.
No, at this rate, I'm actually planning on getting it now, because I've seen some of the gameplay. Like I've seen some of the campaign and all that, and I'm like, okay, gameplay is good. All right.
Here's the thing. as a longtime fan of Far Cry, like I said, I'm currently in the middle of playing Far Cry 6. When I looked at this game, I'm just thinking, is this basically Halo Far Cry? I hope not. But
I don't know. I mean, from what I've seen, it kind of seems like real quick, like those little marine camps that you can find, like those little prisoner camps. If the more of them you get, the more marines will be at your base and the more resources you'll have to fight. So it's like you could like eventually be able to just go to your base and get a tank or something like that. So,
well, I mean, admittedly, Far Cry 6 between Far Cry 5 is in the middle of this process of reinventing a little bit of what the Far Cry is, which doesn't say much considering Ubisoft loves to copy paste shit. But there's no more radio towers like Assassin's Creed style, so they're moving away from that at least. So if I said it might just be Halo Far Cry, even that might be wrong because it might be older version of Far Cry, not newer version of Far Cry, but you get the point.
yeah.
So it is this kind of thing of like, I hope not. I'm gonna enjoy the game regardless. I think. I just hope it's not like that because I feel like after
Something
playing Far
different.
Cry, playing this, I just feel a little samey.
Yeah. Yeah.
We might actually cover on the 15th. Tongue not working again. It's all that sleep deprivation kicking in. Who needs sleep? On the 15th, we might cover the Destiny update. Maybe the first kind of week reaction of the anniversary event.
Maybe.
And on the 8th, we might cover.
Depending on how it goes, we might be able to access the activity right away and like kind of do a review on that right away.
I know on the 15th is also when the new War for Warframe comes out, so we might talk about that possibly. My calendar's busy, so
we'll see.
I have a lot of stuff I can bounce around for this show. Justin has I'm hoping a lot of ideas for potential episodes as well.
Not as heavy hitting, but you know.
I'm the entire R&D department for this show, so when I say I have my calendar full, it's because I tend to have to do all the back end research. So, if he has an idea, I'm happy to listen. But
yes, here we go again.
I mean, you were going on about that, developer kind of relation, publisher relations. Like
something I am thinking about that we can do is like have conversations on some of the like more finer detail stuff that goes on with games companies and their developments. Because it's a good conversation to get into when it comes to like games and how they get made and stuff.
I mean, it's a very fun topic. It's a very interesting topic.
And it's something that people need to hear sometimes because, like, I know I can sound impatient for some games too, but I understand. But no, like I at least understand. Like, no matter what, a game, if done right, will take a lot of time, and it's just to understand like the wide scope on how much time is really needed and how much development and resources does kind of put into perspective like, okay, this much was done for obviously this much time was needed and whatnot. So it's a good thing to understand for anyone who doesn't know about it.
It's an interesting topic. It's been talked about to hell and back, but sadly with this industry, you just need to keep bringing it up because it's still a relevant topic.
It really is, and it's something that like sometimes when you look at it, it's like both communities and developers themselves don't even realize it. Like developers push themselves so much to the point where like they don't realize it's like you can take some time. The more you
I think
rush
it's more publishers push them to do it because deadlines and profit margins.
Yeah, but still, it's like
it factors into that conversation
it's just one of those things that's like the more you remind people, the more likely it is they're going to be like relaxed about about the fact that they gotta just give it some time. Wait a little bit.
there is that discussion to be had where it's like on the developer side, as far as I know, like if you give a developer like freedom reign, it'll go into development hell eventually, and the game will never come out because they'll keep iterating. I mean, just look at frickin' Star Citizen, for God's sake. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Development hell with no real end goal. Whereas if you give it entirely to the publisher, it'll get, well, what we're seeing now, rushed out the door, half finished, half baked, all in the name of meeting some arbitrary quota deadline.
All right, how many microtransactions can we fit in this with only a limited amount of content to actually do? Go.
As you said that, honestly, I'm literally reminded of that scene from frickin' Ready Player One. We can sell 95% of the player's viewport before inducing seizures.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of what it is. But again, that's a topic for another day. We've already been going on for I think at least hour and 5-6 minutes at this point. So, and I know you guys don't like our long videos, so we won't do that. Plus, I need sleep.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to bed now.
Consumption and removal of material from brain. Here we go.
What material from brain? It's just a void powered by a hamster on a wheel.
Oh, you have a hamster? Ah, I have 2 accountants.
I have 2 accountants. One just talks to the other occasionally.
They just go and talk about, hey, you ever wonder what we're gonna do when we run out of, things to account? Don't talk about that. The more you talk about that, the more work you know we're gonna get.
And that's why you have voices in your heads, kids.
They're literally just accountants talking to each other. They're trying to understand their situation in life.
There you go. They're trying to fathom the inside of your skull while inside your skull.
Without even knowing about it.
But anyways, so there you go. That's the show. Again, the Game Awards is on the 9th, next week at 8 p.m., I believe. So if you want to look out, do that. I certainly know I will at least be. I'm not gonna talk for Justin. I honestly.
I'll be keeping an eye out on the results. I don't think I'll actually go and watch the rewards because for the most part the rewards are mostly gonna be praising to every single person, and then it's gonna be at the end, oh yes, you win. Everyone else just kind of sits there so. I'll wait until after the results and just look at the results for everything.
I mean, admittedly, I didn't watch it for a very long time. I only started watching it 2-3 years ago. Because I think 1 or 2, 2-3 years ago. I think 2 years ago actually, because I just kind of thought it was a big thing in the games, and I've for a long time had an interest in the games news industry. But I just never really paid attention to the Game Awards, which is a bad idea, especially considering they do a lot of releases there.
I mean, that's the thing though. I'll pay attention to I've always looked at who's won the rewards and what games are coming out, what games were announced from the awards. I've always looked at that. It's just I've never actually watched it live because I know if I'm watching it live, for the most part, I'm just gonna hear some guy praising about X, Y, and Z games every 5 seconds.
We could always just we could always do a live reaction, do it on Thursday. Skip the Wednesday show, and we could do that.
We could.
We could. It's possible. I say we could, and he goes, "Yeah, we could." No, we're not.
No. Meanwhile, me has work. No.
Hey, I'm just spitballing.
You're spitballing, but there's impossibilities, my friend. Possibilities within possibilities.
My goodness.
Hopefully you enjoyed, though.
Hopefully you enjoyed. That's the show. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Feed the algorithm. Feed us. We need the money.
Give them views, boy.
Give this to your friends. Give this to your family. Get them to subscribe. You should subscribe. I have not seen the analytics, but I hope all of you are subscribed.
Do it.
Maybe I should have to watch the analytics one day. Do it. I mean, who wouldn't want to listen to me and this guy talk about gaming news week after week after week? As you slowly go insane.
Will. You must.
If you've not gone insane at this point, rest assured we probably have as well.
If your mind hasn't broken by this point in time, then clearly you are the superior being. You are the chosen one. You are
And I
the
cannot
one who will
handle this.
either save or destroy us all.
Congratulations, you've ascended to the prophesized one rank.
The great journey has begun.
Anyways, we should probably let you go because I know you guys don't like the long shows. So again, in the words of the immortal Red Green, I'm pulling for. Or, let me paraphrase that a little bit more. I should paraphrase a bit more. We're pulling for you. We're all in this together. Good night.